Hey, how's it going? This is Gray from Wakizashi's Teahouse over in Japan. Happy New Year, happy 2024. I hope you're good, I hope you're genki. I've been away for a bit. I've been having a good time with family. Not been away, but been away from YouTube, away from reviewing. So I'm a bit late to this, but I wanted to put this out here because this is a really, really good issue 1 that I recommend. I would go out and buy this. If you've not got it already, do check it out. What am I talking about? It is Duke issue 1 from Image from Skybound, written by Joshua Williamson with excellent art by Tom Reilly, colours by Jordi Belair. As I say, this came out last Wednesday. I'm late to the game, but I don't care because I want to shout out something good. I want to focus on something positive. Hang on a second here, where are we? So, let me give you a little bit of an introduction to this. Have you been reading Transformers? I hope you have. That's definitely worth picking up. How about Void Rivals? Again, another good recommend. This is the story of Duke, who anyone who knows anything about G.I. Joe will be familiar with the character. I'll just give you a little bit from the synopsis here. I'm not going to spoil things, so here we go. One of the US Army's most decorated soldiers is on the hunt for answers, drawn into a conflict that no amount of training could ever prepare him for. A war that only a real American hero has any chance of surviving. Gotta tell you, it's just had a blast with this. Really good, really fun, interesting story. It looks like it's going to really go places. As I say, Joshua Williamson is a big fan of the property, big fan of G.I. Joe, the cartoon. I say cartoon, I'm from the UK. The animation and the toys, of course. So, you know, it shows in this opening issue. It really does. So, yeah, go out, buy it, read it. I'm sure you will enjoy it. I'm going to give this a Wakizashi 8.5 out of 10, and I'm looking forward to issue 2 already. And probably also going to be checking out Cobra Commander issue 1 when that drops later on this month. So yeah, as I say, apologies for the lateness, but just check it out. It's really, really good comic book. Okay, let's get on with the story summary, and I will avoid spoilers for the second half of the issue. So please keep watching, and here we go. The issue opens with some reader-friendly backstory on Duke. He was top of the class at boot camp, a leader both on and off the battlefield. He'd been on countless successful extraction and rescue missions, with 0 collateral damage. Now that is impressive. From day 1, it's been clear that you are a man of action. Then we're told that Duke has turned down every promotion opportunity. He believes his place is not in a command room, but in the trenches with the troops. So we get all this build-up, it builds up and builds up, and then we switch to what appears to be modern day. None of that means jack now. What happened to you, Conrad? Insubordination, carelessness, you're barely in uniform. But regardless of all this, they want him back. His country needs him. Notice the sign that says Hawk on the desk. All he has to do is pass the psych evaluation and stop asking questions. This is where it starts to get really interesting because we're tying in to the current Transformers series. All due respect, Colonel Hawk, I saw what I saw, and you weren't there. We encountered a hostile jet that looked like one of ours, and then, whatever that thing was in the sky, it snuffed out Frosting's life like he was nothing, and it enjoyed it. I gotta say at this point, I'm really liking this art by Tom Reilly. Very kind of almost minimal style to it, but really good use of the perspective. Great breakdown in the panels. Look at the action here. When you relive that sequence, that awful moment when the Decepticon squashed out poor Frosting's life. Duke tells Hawk, "Every time I close my eyes, I see that thing. It was an accident. What about his family? We took care of them. With lies?" Then Hawk tells Duke he needs some time off, he needs some vacation time, come back when his head is right. But Duke demands to see the files from the black box. They're classified. Duke storms out, furious that his country, his superior officers, they're lying to him. "I'm getting answers. I will know what that flying robot is. Then, I'm taking it out." What a badass exit. Then we skip ahead to 6 months later. We see a rather rugged-looking Duke driving towards somewhere. He's got some strange-looking books in his car. UFO, Mindbender. Looks like he's on a conspiracy theory track. He pulls up at a house, opens the door. I saw one too. And is confronted by a room filled with not the most flatteringly depicted group of people. but I do enjoy the little pieces, the bits and pieces of conversation going on. On the freeway, this massive truck, it stood up. It was intense. No, it's a secret society in the ice, man. They abducted me. They took me up to the ship. And then he ripped his face off. It was another dude underneath. Ah, says Duke. This was a mistake. Leaving so soon? Dr. Adele Burkhardt? This is not what I was expecting. And then she makes this great point, a great line by Joshua Williamson here. It's easier to hide the truth among the ridiculous. Then they step away into what looks like her secret office. Forgive the mess. I found it's best to be as low-tech as possible. Very good advice these days. She goes on to tell Duke that for years she's been dedicating her life to finding a new, clean energy source. She believed they would find it in the stars. She tells him she was getting close, but I started to ask questions about their plans for it, and the people I work for didn't like that. I know the feeling, says Duke. Dr. Burkhardt's worry is if anyone is able to capture and use that power, subvert it, use it for war, the consequences would be devastating. Duke tells her that he'd seen so much in service he thought he'd seen it all. Then I saw a robot in the sky and everyone said I was crazy. It made me question everything. It turns out this is why Dr. Burkhardt has reached out to Duke. After hearing your story, I believe you stumbled upon a high-tech arms race. And the company on the edge of that is... Okay, to avoid spoilers, let me skip ahead a couple of pages just to show off some of this awesome art. Look at this here. Great comic book storytelling, just pure visual storytelling going on. I love the use of shadows here, the shading that the artist uses. Also the great use of minimal colours. I'll be damned, says Duke. What has he discovered? Okay, I'll end the story summary there because there's still so much more to read, so many more pages, so much happens and it just gets better and better as we go on. But let me just read a little bit from this kind of pre-letters page. It's a thank you. It's Joshua Williamson introducing like why, he wanted to do this. And guess how it started? Yes, it all started with VHS tapes and my dad, says Joshua Williamson. G.I. Joe was a Saturday morning favourite and my dad would tape the episodes so we could rewatch them over and over again until the theme song was burned into my mind. He talks about the show having some great characters, of course, very rich, a diverse cast. It was fun, it was weird, it didn't talk down to kids. Then came the toys. Not only the toys, but the cool weapons, gadgets and vehicles. It's interesting here that he talks about he always played the side of Cobra when he was playing with his friends, making their own G.I. Joe stories. Now, just let me point out one more thing. He does go on to say, this will be the G.I. Joe that you know and love, but it will also not be. We can't just repeat what's come before. We took the pieces that we all love and shined a new, modern light on them. Now, that kind of phrase gives me a little bit cause for concern, but hopefully I'm just worrying too much about nothing. We have the room to tell a multi-year story that will take these characters into new directions. It allows us to spend more time with the characters themselves and continue to show why this world has stood the test of time these past 40 years. Now, this sounds very good to me, sounds very positive. What do you think? Okay, I do hope you enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed reading it. Really, really good comic. Okay, let me have a look. We have advertisements for Transformers issue 4, which is out on January the 10th, so just not long to go for that. And also Duke issue 2, it says here, on sale January 31st. So looking forward to those. Explore the Energon Universe. Okay, so as always, thank you so much for watching. This has been Gray from Wakizashi's Teahouse, and I'm signing off for the late afternoon here. Matane.